somebody who isn't yourself. You need to give yourself grace. Really give your company grace a minute. Don't just give your background.
Okay, great. Yeah, my name is Jonathan McDougall. I own BayGrown Farms. We've been a licensed hemp farm since 2019 in the state of Massachusetts. We're a dual processor and cultivator. We make our own line of organic and like CBD health products. We also are a cannabis cultivation management company, and we manage and operate a 100,000 square foot Tier 11 license in the southeastern Mass. So we're pretty busy between hemp and cannabis throughout the year.
Absolutely. So it's how many organizations right now are diverse in both entities in Massachusetts? Very few, right? So are you like one of 5 maybe at max? Tier 11, there's only 5 Tier 11s, but in general, your company's diverse in both.
Yes.
Yep. So that's a brand new boundary, right? Just being crossed. Lots of legalities that come with that and implications. There's lots of issues. We're actually not allowed to be the same company.
Yeah, we're legally 2 different companies.
Legally 2 different companies, right? Somehow there's a federal law that prevents us from being the same company. Somehow we have to follow that federal law, but
we can't even do it on the same property.
Absolutely, right? So from a soil perspective, let's just talk about how important that is and what are the complexities you have to deal with around that, and how do you simplify that?
At our facility, we actually do an outdoor grow. We do outdoor. Excuse me. We do outdoor and greenhouse. So we were actually fortunate enough to actually build our soil. We were on just we're on like a 14-acre sand pit. So we basically, like, this company basically made soil and trucked in about 5 acres worth of soil. And I mean, I've never had access to money like that, but when big money comes into cannabis like that, that's a decision that they made for us, and we were like, we can either go in pots or we can go on the ground. It's like, you're going to be paying way more every year. We can do this one-time upfront cost, and that's so now we're doing like a living soil over there in Wareham, and that's just that's just the most sustainable way to go. I mean, for outdoor growing, you're barely using electricity. I mean, the only electricity that we're really using is to run the irrigation. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, it's really just manpower and just kind of like tending to the plants. So we fully utilize the outdoor license to its extent of, having the smallest footprint. But we do go in the greenhouses over the winter, and like you're saying, it is a decent sized cost. And if you don't have a place to store the leftover soil to like re-amend and use it on like the 3rd run after that, then like you're just throwing it away, wasting it. It's just a lot more money removing it from the property. So it's just a lot. You don't see that in hemp at all. So I mean, having both sides, it's like there's a lot more to do on one side than the other. So it's just a lot of like red tape, really, honestly.
Season's different. Every situation is different. You learn something every season. You never go into it as an expert. It always changes. It's dynamic. The cultivars, it always changes. And so, yeah, any lessons learned?
Lessons learned.
And other practices, yeah.
Well, I guess a lesson learned for us, I mean, this goes back to when we were working with you guys when we did the jam. You never know when regulations are going to change. So I just want to touch on that. So when we first started, we actually teamed up with Averill, and we made a whole batch of jam. They made a whole batch of jam. We provided the CBD, and everything was basically ready to go. And they came out and said that you couldn't put CBD in edibles. So we had just spent a bunch of time, wasted a bunch of product because we weren't allowed to sell any of the jam. So it was just like, there's so many things that we've had to deal with, adapt, or just take as a loss and keep going. It's just like, if you really can't adapt in this industry, you're not really going to make it. I feel like it's as kind of like hard pressed as that sounds, but like if you can't adapt, then you're not gonna survive. So if you have to be sustainable. Sustainable is something that you're going to have to adapt to if you're not doing it right now in one way or another, or like, fully completely integrated off the grid. Like if you're not doing something that's sustainable, you're going to, you're going to lose at some point, is how what I see from my standpoint in the industry, is that if you're not if you're not thinking about it right now, then you're already done, honestly, personally.
But there's aspects from a manufacturing perspective on waste management, which are all of our bottles, our jars, our containers, our lids. So take this to whatever angle that you want to really take your own view. But from waste management and future goals or future hopes.
So waste management for us on the cannabis side is really just like having to destroy the plant material with an inert medium, so it becomes indistinguishable. And that's just, it's insane when you can just mulch your soil with what you're, with whatever plant waste you have can be green manure basically for your plants. So that is just like, it doesn't make any sense for us. That's like one of the biggest things that we feel needs to be changed for waste management on the cannabis side. And that's just the biggest thing that I see is, managing and operating, we do it every single day. There's waste every single day. So to be able to bring in another medium and mix them together and then get rid of it from the property is just, it's asinine, really. The second part, what was the second part? Futures. So our company is actually currently trying to acquire a cultivation and manufacturing license in the rec market right now. We're looking at a couple different properties in the South Coast, so we're hoping to get a community host agreement by the end of the summer or the fall time. So, we're managing 100,000 square feet. For another license, we're going after our own license, and we're just gonna keep pushing our CBD products and stuff like that. So, and hopefully we can do something with the hemp laws in Massachusetts, because burning a crop for being 0.01% over is just also insane. We've had to light fire to a couple acres of our hemp field because it was literally 0.01% over the THC limit. So that's just, there's a lot of things that people don't talk about, a lot of losses that people take on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, and a yearly basis. And the people that are still here doing it every day, they all have a story to tell, they all have setbacks. So somebody that's still here and doing it, it's good to see them, because they've encountered a lot, they've gone through a lot of hardship, and they're still here. So we just like to give gratitude. We're happy to be here, and we're happy that other people are still here working too. So that's what's most important to us. So you can find us at BayGrownFarms.org, and we're also on Instagram as BayGrown Corp.